Being in meetings can become a comfort zone.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen it happen. Maybe some people do need to be in a meeting every single day. Some people do.
Yes.
And that's good for them. What I'm doing for me is working for me because the results are showing.
Right.
And so stepping out of your comfort zone, whatever that might look like, even if that means dumping off a couple recovery-related things in order to chase some dreams.
Welcome. This show empowers you to confront and overcome addiction with real stories, inspiration, and a host of resources. Our growing community supports, uplifts, and takes action to enable a new way of living. Now, F3 Recovery brings you the Super Sober Podcast. Welcome to Super Sober Podcast number 31. We are here and doing it, and we're going into the 30s. Can you believe it? It is happening. We have another awesome guest. This will be our second back-to-back guest ever on the Super Sober Podcast. She's back from Super Sober Podcast 30. We're doing it again. Back-to-back concession, Jessica M. We are here at the podcast place in Long Beach, California. Just want to let you know I'm your host. My name is Brett C. I'm an RN with a BSN. Been working in hospitals for 20 years. Been working in detox, helping people for over 10 years now, sussing out this crazy convoluted disease, addiction. And we got our co-host right here. He's back again too. Rich, go ahead and let us know what's up, sir.
Thanks, Brett. So glad to be back. My name's Rich. I have a sobriety date of October 5th, 2013. I'm an RN and I'm a nursing supervisor at a residential behavioral health facility. And that's me.
That's rad. I forgot to do my sobriety dates, 4/21/03. And then we're going to do our guest here. Jessica M is back, and this is going to be awesome. Go ahead and introduce yourself real quick, Jessica.
Hello. My name is Jessica McDonald. My sobriety date is 10/27/19. I am a full-time content creator and life coach, and I am so excited to be back to talk about these topics today. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes. Thank you for just being so accessible. Everybody loved the last podcast. My friends were showing it in treatment centers. The views have been off the chart for downloads. And I don't remember how long since we first started this. People were really excited. They loved the visuals. We love the visuals. We're going to give you 4 more visuals on this podcast going through it. And basically, kind of doing a theme here is going to be the last podcast and the next couple coming up, which is all about letting go. They say the program can be summed up to 2 words, and that's like letting go. So much of the reasons why we can't do everything is because we're so attached to everything. We can't get through the steps. We just can't let go of who we were or who we think we were and who we think we are and all this convoluted process. But we are breaking it down and making it as simple as possible on the Super Sober Podcast for the last 30 episodes. If you haven't checked them out, go through them, start from the beginning. In the beginning, we get really simple about how to get into sobriety, some barriers and all that. Then when episodes 6 through 10, we go over the steps so you can, get a little insight to that. And the last 20 episodes have been a lot of stories. The second back-to-back podcast, like I've said, like 3 times, we did, I think it was 13 and 14 with Dr. Alan Resch, and now we're here with Jessica M on 30 and 31. But before, as always, we got a lot of shout-outs to do here. Just hang tight really quick. Don't forget about Solomon here at the podcast place in Long Beach. We're going to do some sobriety milestone shout-outs really quick. We got Dooley with 1 year. We got Chris Z with 18 months. Gus W with 18 months. Haley with 2 years, Taylor H with 4 years, Russell with 8 years, Bob S with 10 years, Jared F, the other code host, our bro, with 10 years, Howard with 14 years, and Lisa C, mama out there, shout out to you and the whole family in recovery, basically, a whole family in recovery with 22 years. Yeah.
And any other listeners out there that is coming up on a milestone or came up on a milestone, congratulations.
Yeah, definitely. And email us. Let us know. We'll shout you out. Why not, man? It's this is your life we're talking about and how you stay accountable to change. That's what we're all about here on the Super Sober Podcast for sure. So congratulations on all them. And I got to see a bunch of those people take those chips.
That's cool.
And it was super rad. People are just tearing it up out there in recovery. But we're going to get right here to Jessica M, who's tearing it up right here, working into year 6 in recovery. And it's like, if you were to just sit here and listen to her talk and how much she can break everything down in her first 5 years of recovery. Unbelievable transformation. So we're going to do 4 videos here. And this one is another viral one that we didn't put on the last one that we really loves, because she loves to give some visuals for the people that are listening out there and don't watch the actual video. It's she's got a little doll with a bunch of strings attached to it, or yarn. And then attached to those yarns are nuts and bolts and visual things of just keeping you dragged back. And then she'll show you how you can level up and then go through it. So we're going to do the first video, and then we're going to break it down. And let's go ahead and do that. Sound good, Jessica?
Yeah, that sounds great.
All right, let's go to that first video.
One of the most impactful patterns of the level up journey, that if you don't understand it's happening, you might feel like it's failing. I'm going to give you a visual representation of this so you understand what it actually takes to really level up. Okay, this is you. This is the level you're at right now. You're at ground level. You've made it pretty far. Look, she's successful. She's got her jacket on. She's got her hair done. She's good. But she wants to get here. But she's got all of these things weighing her down. So she can't get to that next level. And she's trying and she's trying and she can't figure out why. This is the part where you have to ask yourself, how many of these things am I willing to let go of to actually step up to that next level? Because becoming more isn't about being more of something else. It's about being less of what no longer serves you. So she's got to slow down and sit down and start really going through these things. So let's take a look. What are some of these things that are holding her back? We've got some hidden beliefs that are lodged into her brain from childhood, that rich people aren't from our family. We can never be wealthy. That's for everybody else. That's not for us. You know what? She's going to let those go. She sees people just like her making money all the time. She's not going to take those with her anymore. But see, she's stagnant right now as she's sorting this out. This is the quiet before the level up. What else does she have going on? Maybe some hidden beliefs about an income cap. Maybe she's got some self-worth issues, thinking she's not good enough. She's like, you know what? I see everybody else doing this. I am good enough. I'm ready to let this go. So then she gets up and she tries to accomplish what she set out to accomplish, and she levels up. We've got to let go of what's holding us back. So she's going along, and she realizes, you know what? I want to get to the next level. I'm ready for all the rest of this stuff that I didn't accomplish yet. I'm really going to get after it. But she's still got some other things holding her back. So she's got to sit down again. She's got to slow down again. She's got to let go of even more hidden beliefs, even more trauma, even more things about herself that are not true. We get indoctrinated with so many things through our childhood, through traumatic relationships, through toxic work environments. And we get these beliefs deep inside of us that aren't even ours to begin with. So she's going to let those go. She's going to let go of the idea that she can't be a business owner. She's going to let go of the idea that maybe, this isn't meant for her. She's going to let go of the idea that it has to be perfect before she makes progress. And she stands up and she immediately gets to that next level. So here's my question for you. If you feel slowed down, if you feel bogged down, like you can't really get to that next level, how many things are you ready to let go of that are no longer serving you and are holding you back?
Amazing video. Did you get that doll specially made for you? Is that you? Is that a little mini doll of you?
That sweater looked the same.
I was thinking that
My
too.
sister works for me full time. So I came up with the idea because I saw someone else's content years ago, and I wish I could tag the original creator, but I don't know who it was. It was a gentleman, and he was giving a sermon, and there were family members actually pulling on cords on his jacket. And I was like, I have to be able to recreate this because that was the most beautiful illustration. So if anybody knows him, please tag him. That was the most beautiful illustration that I'd ever seen. So my sister made that for me. She bought the Barbie, she bought the clothes, and she put it all together. And she's like, will this work? I was like, yes, that's exactly it. So we constructed it.
That's so cool because it looks like you. It's brunette Barbie. I mean, brunette Barbie tighter hair or something, I guess. But
I also like the
awesome.
fact that it was a doll. And so it's like you're saying that this kind of work can happen at an early age too,
Yeah. The sooner you can embrace these ideologies, the faster you're going to be able to grow. It's hard to change your mind at 50. It's a lot easier at 20. It's hard. I'm 44 years old. And so for me to rewire my brain, I mean, indoctrination on the highest level, and so
Neuroplasticity, huh?
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So the sooner the better.
I loved what you said about you said it was like a dope quote, but it was during the video, and you said this is not about being more, but it's about getting rid of what no longer serves you.
Yeah.
I was like,
So many
damn,
people
that was
think that
good.
they have to become more of something else, and they're layering the more on top of these rooted hidden beliefs, and that's where the hang up is coming. It's the layer in the onions that everybody talks about. Which ones are you ready to peel off and really let go of? And my first 3 or 4 years of sobriety, I had one sponsor, and I switched sponsors, and still friends with all of them, great relationships. Things just happen, and when I met with my second sponsor, she's Gen X. She's hardcore. She doesn't mince words. She doesn't play around. And she's like, Jessica, you've done the work. You've done the steps. You've done the writing. This is a choice. You have to make a decision to no longer buy into these old stories. Because once you've done the work, the book says we're done with that part. It doesn't say we sit in it and believe in it and go back and play in it and borrow it again. It says we do the step and then we move on. She's like, but you're choosing to continue to go backwards and believe them. And so that really gave me a lot of my power back. Instead of thinking there was more work to be done, there was more healing there's always more to do. She's like, it's done. You did it. Make a choice. And I was like, wow, that was very impactful for me.
Well,
Yeah, I feel like we kind of touched on this during the last podcast. Like we kind of went into this realm a little bit. I probably did a little bit when I shared. But like, because I relate a lot to this, these things that I told myself or these things that I believed in myself. And it's like, I grew up on Section 8, and like everybody was like, all of the kids around me, like none of us had dads. Like it was just what we did, and our parents didn't have dads. And it was like this cycle was repeating itself. And then we all became addicts. All of our parents were addicts and alcoholics. And so like, even going to school to become an RN was like, dude, we don't go to college. Like none of us, nobody around me ever went to college. I didn't know a single person that went to college around me growing up. It wasn't until I got to California and I saw people doing some things different that I started to believe that maybe I could do that too. But it was really, really difficult for me to even envision myself in a position other than like working at AutoZone and hopefully working hard enough to become general manager. You know what I'm saying? Just like taking what I can get instead of like going out and getting something that was like completely foreign to me,
Yeah.
So I totally relate to this topic for sure.
There were three main takeaways. I think the most common things that people need to let go of, myself included, all of us. Number one is judgment of others. The people are going to judge you, or already judging you, whether you're successful or whether you're failing. They're already doing it. So you got to let go. The people are going to judge you. It's just going to happen. Number two, judgment of yourself, right? What I can't do it. I'm not doing it good enough. I'm not doing it right. You're doing it. Doing it messy is better than not doing it at all. I mean, shit's messy. Everything's messy until it's not. But those first couple steps, let go of that self-judgment. And then the third thing is the old stories. I can only get here based on this, because every day is a new day. Every day is a brand new day and a brand new opportunity to tell yourself that you're a different version of yourself. So those are the three main things, and we have this loyalty to our old stories and the fear that if I turn into the next version of myself, what's going to happen to my friends? What's going to happen to my family? Are they still going to love me? Are they still going to accept me? And most people don't get deep enough into the work to realize that those are the really big ones that are holding us back, is this idea of abandonment. Abandonment is a big issue for our people, for us, And so are we going to be left behind, or are we going to leave them behind? And am I still going to be safe and maintain my sobriety if I'm successful?
So good. It's so good. I love what you're doing with it. I love what we've done. I love what so many people in the recovery community, and so many people just not even in recovery, people are just leaning into it. They want more out of life. They know there's more out of life, and people are digging deep. And we got a great example right here. We got the visual of this lady with so many people. The truth is that some people just can't go where you're going, or they won't let enough go. And what's happening now that we see in business and people younger and younger becoming billionaires and millionaires and everything, you don't have to spend 20 years to get to where you need to go these days. The information highway is kicking. And, you know, in the age of information, ignorance is a choice. And I see people in recovery just killing it. I've been shouting it out the whole 31 episodes of people doing it and no more excuses. And it's like, you're looking at two people with a lot of drug use history and everything. And we had it on podcast 11. There was 3 of us that all became RNs, registered nurses. And we all had every excuse not to do it, except for the one that we believed in our higher power and our faith. And we did it messy, super messy. Yeah. It was super messy for me.
Dude, and speaking of abandoning, like that idea of abandoning the people, you know, like I definitely experienced like some judgment from my own family members when I got clean and started doing something different. They didn't know who I was. They didn't know this new version of me when I showed up, you know, for Christmas. And I had one family member, and I spoke to you about this, Brett, but that like made me feel like he almost made me feel like I should be shamed for not drinking and using. And I think it was because that was like the only thing that we bonded over. And so once we didn't have that thing in common anymore, he didn't understand how to feel about me. And this is like my own, you know, this is my own brother. You know what I mean? And it was like a struggle for me because I'm like, this guy should be, you would think he'd be cheering me on. But like it came from a place, I think, of like fear and like, I don't know who my brother is anymore. And so this is foreign to me. So let me go ahead and like kind of, I mean, I felt like I was getting clowned, you know what I'm saying? But I stood strong. And I didn't like people please enough. I didn't people please my way into another drink or another toke off that joint just because he was making me feel a certain way. But I definitely experienced that. And it was such a weird thing for me to navigate. And it can happen. I don't know, Brett, did you ever experience anything like that?
Yeah, I've experienced a lot of that kind of stuff. And I just know that my path was going, and a lot with my friends and other people of all different types. My family's always very supportive. But even with my own mom, she always been a champion. And then she said, oh, those kind of people that I told her what I was doing. And she goes, well, those kind of people in those places won't be interested in what you're doing. And I was like, even from my own mom. And she didn't mean it as malicious or anything like that, but that's coming from the old mindset. It's like, oh, these people aren't going to be interested. And it still rings in my head a little bit because that's from my own mom.
Oh, I got some daggers in the beginning. And so here's the psychology behind that. We as human beings mirror each other. And a lot of people's safety is tethered to who other people are. I'm safe because you're my brother and you drink, and you're my mom and you drink, and you believe this about me. Well, you start rattling who you are, and that rattles their foundation.
Big time.
So now all of a sudden they are not seeing that same mirror. They're seeing everything they're not and everything they're not able to do. And this is on a subconscious level. They may not even know it's happening.
Right.
All of a sudden, what you're reflecting back at them is everything they perceive that they failed at or perceived isn't possible. And they're like, whoa. You need to bring it back down. You need to come back down to where I'm at because your success is making me feel unsafe.
I agree 1,000%. Like, I think it definitely comes from a place of insecurity for sure.
Yeah. And it 9 times out of 10, it will blow over. You know, and some people never get over it, but the longevity of this is the longer you stay rooted in who you're becoming and who you are and on your mission, people will eventually come around. I had people making fun of me who later asked me, hey, can you work with me? You know, how what you do, you know? And I get it because there's women when I was judging that I'm like, damn, they're actually killing it. That was my own insecurity. Yeah. So I have to even check myself. You know, it's that judgment and that criticism that comes up when we're afraid. You know, fear is secondary. You know, fear is primary, but we cover it with everything else. So for anybody who's changing and you're in that period where you're all by yourself, that's where you lean into your higher power and you really get clear because the board will be cleared for you to figure out who you are. And then you're going to start attracting people that are on your new wavelength, that are on your new vibration. But you've got to maintain that long enough to create that frequency for new people to come in. So
that's real too. I like how you said, you know, how you talked about like your own judgments, you know, because there's levels to this. Like I'm over here talking about my brother, but the thing is like I experienced the same thing that he was experiencing sometimes in my daily life. Like maybe I look at somebody who's maybe a little more consistent in the gym than I am, and they're getting a little bit better results than I am, and maybe I get like a little tinge of jealousy.
Yes.
You can plug in anything in there, and it's literally that's literally the same exact thing, for sure.
Yeah, I love the aspect of it where you hit on those three touchstones, and it's not becoming more of what you aren't, but less of what the phrase that you said in there. I had it written down, but it was, you guys are just going to have to go back into these nuggets and listen to it over and over again. They're so profound and they hit at such a deep level. And it's also another thing to let go, the theme of it, of what other people perceive you as. It's time to start seeing yourself on these different levels. And the one question before we go to the next video was, how many different levels do you feel, Jessica, that you've gone through now? Because where you're going in all these different business ventures and in your sobriety, and more people hitting you up to be on podcasts, and a little bit about what we're getting to know about you, how many different levels do you feel you've leveled up for over the last 5 years?
Oh my God. A lot of crying, a lot of calls to my sponsor. I mean, it's infinite. You know, the more aligned you get in your purpose, you get presented with an opportunity, and then you have to do the work to be able to say yes to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I first started as a content creator, I was like, I can do this all by myself. And then I got to the level where I was like, I need help. I can't do this by myself anymore. And so I was like, okay, God, I need help. Then my income dramatically changed. I was able to hire my sister.
Yeah.
So now I have help. You know, so it's like you go so far alone and it gets really clear what you need, and you pray in and you pray in and you pray in, and then it comes your way. I think anybody can level up infinite amount of times if you're willing to lean in. You know, if you're really willing to lean into your higher power, you're going to get shown your purpose.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's so cool. Yeah, the level ups are uncomfortable, especially with the last episode we did. It showed you showing those level ups, and then the quiet time, and then the time when you think that nothing's happening is the orchestration on the external of people, places, and things coming through so you can walk in to your next level. And so many times we do that, but even though you can be shown the burning bush, you can be shown 100 different times that your higher power is guiding you, even into that next level, you still got trepidation.
You're scared. You're scared to death. It's not about never being afraid. It's about learning how to do it scared.
Oh yeah. We're doing it here. Yeah. I mean, I remember talking with Solomon the first time in here, and then he like laid it out and made it simple, and we couldn't have done what we do. It's about the who and the not how, basically doing it messy, getting the right people. And when the right people show up, you got to at least have a little bit of vision also to be like, oh, okay, this isn't how I thought it should be, which is where all the miracles happen.
Well, the thing is you showed up too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You showed up to the podcast place to meet Solomon. You didn't
Yeah.
just think it up and then we're like, no, I can't do that. Like you showed up here to meet with him.
Yep.
And then you just keep showing up, right? And then you show up to where the people are showing up. And then that's how you find those people, I think. You know?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they keep on coming through. They just keep coming through. So we're going to do video number 2. What do you think? We're just going to go right into this one right here in video number 2. Is all about the loyalty, which we've already alluded a little bit. It's hard to separate each video without kind of amalgamating them all into one topic because they flow so well. So let's go to the next one, Solomon. Thank you.
When you hold on to things that no longer resonate with you energetically out of loyalty, you are not going to have the energy necessary to find the things that do resonate with you that are going to get you where you need to go. This could be people, places, things. It could be activities. It could be friendships. A lot of times we stay around things way too long out of loyalty because we don't want the confrontation of saying, hey, this is no longer working for me. But what you're doing is really shutting down the things that are meant for you, because we only have so much energetic space. We only have so much energy. We only have so much room in our lives for different things. So I want you to ask yourself, what are the things I'm holding on to out of loyalty that are not even resonating with me anymore? And how can you let go of those things so the things that are meant for you can actually drop in? You're actually going to have more energy when you're doing things that align with you. If you're hanging around with a bunch of people that drain your energy, you're going to be taxed, right? You're going to be gassed out. You're not going to have the energy to go to the gym. You're not going to have the energy to do your journaling, manifest, get clear on what you want, take those classes you want to take because you're drained. You're spending all your energy in situations that are no longer serving you. So let's normalize breaking up with things that no longer resonate so you can make space for the things that do.
Yes. Yeah, you have to make that space. Okay, so let's say you're going to go for the level up. You're sitting there and then you commit to it and then you don't have the space. You know, you got people, places, and things dragging you in. I mean, you're looking at two people that decided to go back and do some hardcore education. It's not easy to get your nursing degree. You have to make that space. And then also Jessica had to make that space. Solomon had to make that space. And we're telling everybody about that space right now. And then especially what I wanted to touch in really quick is for a lot of the homies out there or people from the streets or a lot of loyalty to different areas, that you're just like, oh, sorry, homie. You know what I mean? We're still going to be friends, but I can't be friends that way anymore. I can't be down anymore. People, we talked about it on the sober livings and the people in recovery. You're not ratting out people anymore. It's like, this is a sober place. This is my new sober lifestyle. This is my new next level up. And if you're not down for that, then I can't be down for you anymore. Mm-hmm. Total respect, much love. We've been through everything together. I get it. But I guess we're not going to be through everything in my next journey in my life here.
Yeah,
So,
that's a great point because that's something that people early in recovery really struggle with.
struggle
They
to
don't
the
have any
core with
boundaries
that.
yet. They do feel this loyalty, and essentially what it does is it puts their life at risk still. You know, I definitely had a time where I relapsed because I wasn't willing to let go
Right.
of certain things. I wasn't willing to. One of them was friends,
Right.
right? And it was like, here's what I do now. I wanted to try to live in both worlds, right? And you can't live in both worlds, you know? Got out of treatment and I was decided to go try to live in both worlds, be in recovery, and then go to this house where there was a house party and there was liquor being handed around. And I twisted the cap so quick, dude. And it was on and cracking, you know what I mean? And I had 90 days clean. I just got out of treatment, put in all this work. And I don't want to say I undid it all, but and it was because of that. I learned a hard lesson from that.
Yeah.
So the next time I got clean, I saw that a little differently and I was able to navigate it the proper way. But at the end of the day, I rolled the dice right there and luckily I made it back.
Oof.
But that's something that people early in recovery definitely struggle with for sure.
Yeah. I went through a time, and this might cause some controversy, but somebody needs to hear it. I had to change my home group. I had to change the people that I was hanging around in recovery. And I loved my home group. I still love my home group. My OG home group got me sober. The doors were open during COVID. I mean, I owe that home group everything in terms of my sobriety. But I got to a point where a lot of the conversations that were happening there, I would feel worse when I left and not better. Mm-hmm. And so I had to make the decision. I've got to start going to different meetings. I've got to start going to meetings where there's people in the room that are making a shit ton of money and they're doing it sober. I need to learn how to do that. I need to learn how they think. I need to learn, and some people get really angry when you start talking about moving into different rooms, like, oh, you're too good for this. It's like, no, I need to learn something different because this is where I'm trying to go. And it's so scary to leave anything you've ever known. You want to be down and you want to be loyal and you want to show support. But at the end of the day, if you're on a certain trajectory, God will make room for you where you're supposed to be. And I don't know about you guys, but I've never gone anywhere in sobriety in the forward motion and had it end up worse. I've never landed somewhere out of intuition and had it go bad, So if you're feeling kind of stagnant, shake up your meetings, shake up who you're around. What does your news feed look like? What are you indoctrinating yourself with? Are you still watching people who are very early on in sobriety when maybe you've got a couple years and you need to be watching people that have 10 years of sobriety? Like, what is your intake? And always adjusting that based on where you want to be, not where you're at,
Yeah. So that makes me think of how many friends I had early in recovery. I had a plethora of friends, right? And I still do, right? They're still my friends. But I hung around all these people. Physically, I was around all these people. And because of the shifts that have been made, kind of like what Jessica talked about, of moving to different meetings or going here or going there and switching up and trying to get around people that I'm trying to level up with, that amount of people has dwindled, but the quality, I would say, is better.
Yeah.
So, and I agree, man. You hear tell me who your friends are and I'll tell you what you're about or, tell you where you're at in life. Look at the people that are closest to you and that'll tell you a lot about, we are who we hang out with in a lot of ways. So, yeah.
I mean, we're sensitive, right? We're sensitive. So if your home group is full of somebody who's never started their own business and you're trying to start your own business and you're bouncing ideas and you're getting shut down, Or if you go to a group or a meeting around people who have had businesses, failed, built businesses, they're going to be like, hell yeah, do that thing. Take that risk. It's good for you. So who you have yourself around as being who we are as alcoholics, we need to have people that are fueling the fire of our success and fueling the fire of our passions, instead of really giving us advice maybe out of fear or lack of experience, and not even knowing they're shutting us down, because none of it's hateful, none of it's intentional. But you can really only give advice from your own experience, So.
Yeah. And a lot of people love to give more advice than they take. So we got to be careful about those ones too. And that's a whole sponsorship, everything too. I'll go into a couple seconds with that. With me and my sponsorship way that I do things, some sponsors will be like, play it safe. And I'm like, oh man, is this what God got you sober for? You weren't playing it safe on the streets, tell you that. And then you're going to get into the program and just, I'm just going to be this. And I just want this small little life and everything. And it's like, what kind of testament is that? I say, go for it. 110%. What did God get you sober for? So you can, let's go. Right. Yep. And then let's go. And then how are we going to let go? But we'll be right back here. We're right at the middle of the podcast, and we're going to go to a commercial break, and we'll be right back with 2 more videos. But if anybody needs any help out there, anybody in any insurance, Medi-Cal, or whatever, you can call this number. It's 877-345-4138. And that's His House New Creation, the proud sponsor of the Super Sober podcast. Man, helped save my life. He's out there just doing big things. We're talking about 30 years of trajectory. Talk about leaning into it. He's leaning into it all over the place, and he keeps doing it. His name's Glenn S. He's been on a couple podcasts too. So just give us a few minutes, and we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Welcome to the place where it all began, the 9th Street House. Our maiden journey into hope and recovery for His House New Creation treatment centers since 1994. Right next door, the 9th Street apartment building stands as a testament to our commitment to providing comfortable and safe spaces for recovery. And on the other side, nestled amidst nature's best, our Palm House offers a tranquil haven to begin the path to sobriety. You'll find 12 unique His House New Creation treatment centers across Southern California. Just as recovery encompasses inner and outer transformation, our facilities mirror this philosophy. The external beauty of our homes reflect the nurturing and healing environments you'll discover within. These are just glimpses of the harmonious spaces where we support your journey to recovery. Our state-licensed and highly accredited programs echo this sentiment. We know that successful addiction treatment is more than skin deep. It requires a robust plan that heals the mind, strengthens the body, and nourishes the soul. We select the best facility to cater to your unique needs, providing focused, compassionate care that sets you firmly on the path to sobriety and hope. Welcome to His House New Creation Treatment Centers, where the journey to a healthier you begins. Your recovery begins here with us.
All right back. Thanks for taking a minute to listen to Glenn's commercial there at His House New Creation. So we covered a lot already. Oh my God, it's going by so fast. It's crazy. Chew on all of the first half an hour of this podcast, guys. We're going to go to the 3rd video. Do we got anything more on the last one though? I mean, man, I just wanted
to add one more thing if I could. For people who are afraid to leave, if you're in a village and that village is sick, somebody has to leave to get the medicine. So if you've got the willingness and you've got it on your heart to leave, it doesn't mean you can never come back. It just means you're going to leave, you're going to grow, you're going to get everything you need. And before you know it, you're going to be teaching other people the same thing.
That's real too. And I was thinking about that as we were saying this. We were talking about essentially like leveling up ourselves, right? But by leveling up ourselves, we're able to help that newcomer, maybe that newcomer in that meeting that needs that beacon, that needs that person that's talking about going to school, they need that person that's talking about, shaking those friends or maybe breaking up with that girl or breaking up with that man in order to better themselves, So at the end of the day, ultimately it's all about being able to help someone else, after we help ourselves. And so, I wanted to make sure that we didn't forget that.
Yeah. And you're in a better position to help people when you're more stable and rooted in who you are.
For sure.
Yeah, I've always been pretty nomadic in my sobriety. I've had home groups and different clubs where I went to, took the big move out from where I got my first couple of years of sobriety. I'm all about it. Go different things, go check out wherever. And sometimes God moves you to bloom where you are planted because they need you over there with that message. I remember when we first moved about 10 years ago, our son was like, oh, I didn't like the new club where I was. I was used to being in the middle of all the old timers soaking up their wisdom. And then I was like, oh, I didn't kind of like it. And then the kid was all, well, if you don't see the inspiration, maybe you got to be the inspiration.
Real.
And I'm all, man, you need to move out now, kid. You know what I mean? And, 10 years later, I mean, it's a part of our home group. We leaned into it, and it's just another part of it. You know, you don't have to stay loyal to one club or one area, one sponsorship. That's especially one too. Sometimes I've had a lot of different sponsees come in and then move on. They're different. And the truth into all the people sponsoring out there, don't take it personal and always wish people the best. And it's like, hey, I've done what I could. And the call is still open. Just because I don't sponsor you anymore doesn't mean you can't call me. We can't hang or be friends or whatever. It's like, a couple people lately have asked me to sponsor them, and their journey specifically is to become a nurse.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So
Yep.
why don't
There's a
you
reason
ask
they asked
somebody?
you.
Yeah,
There's
and
a
I know
reason
that.
I asked you.
Yeah, exactly. And so, man, just get out there and get it going. So we're going to go into the third video here. And this one's super rad too. They're all rad. And it's basically kind of about who you're hanging around again. So let's go to this third video here, Solomon, okay?
2 things that you are going to have to let go of when you are ready to make serious progress in your life. 1, you're going to need to stop hanging out with people who talk about how hard life is all the time and how difficult everything is. It's not the truth. It's a reality that they're choosing. It's not the reality. Are there hard parts of life? Yes, of course there's hard parts of life, but it's not all hard and treachery and drudgery. You got to let people like that go. Otherwise, you're going to stay stuck exactly where you are. The second thing you're going to need to let go of, people who are fully seated in their comfort zone. Okay. If you are on a trajectory for progress, for growth, for transformation, your ideas are going to sound wild, off the wall, and insane to somebody who is fully seated in their comfort zone. You hang around people like that long enough, they're going to start to convince you that you're crazy. You're not crazy. You just want to grow. You got places to go. You got people to see. You got things to do. So do not be afraid to let go and disattach yourself from people who are fully seated in their comfort zone, especially if that's not something that you're aspiring to be. Get yourself around some visionaries. Start following people who are doing some wild, audacious things. Connect with the energy of the person that you are trying to become and watch how quickly your life will pop off.
Yeah. Break that down a little bit there, Jessica, for us.
It's just, again, if you have these big dreams and these big goals and these visions, I have always had expensive taste ever since I was a little girl. I mean, people in my family, you got champagne taste on a beer budget. You better find
yeah, baby.
you better, my first paycheck, I was 16. I think it was like $400. I got a matching person wallet and the little diamond pendant from Gottschalk's. I just have always liked nice things. And so many people wanted to say, who are you doing that for? Who are you trying to show off for? I'm doing it for me. I like nice things because that's what I like. I don't do my makeup for you. I do it for me, So if you're out there and you've got this sauce, this secret sauce that you love about yourself, don't let other people dim that light. The more you hang around with people that are going to shut down your dreams, shut down your goals, shut down your ideas, you will be indoctrinated by that, and you will stay small, and you will be angry, and you will be resentful. And you're going to constantly have to be doing those 4 steps over the same thing. You got to get yourself out and get yourself around people who really breathe fire into your dreams.
Yeah, that's super cool. The comfort zone area, and people like it. I find myself in this part of my life, and it's okay to want what you want.
Yeah.
You don't have to apologize for wanting something. People always, with some new mentors that I have, they're like, oh, it's okay to want $1 million. You don't have to have a different motive for wanting to have financial freedom, freedom of purpose, freedom of relationship, and freedom to do what you want to do. You want a supercar? Want a supercar. You don't have to want $1 million and then have something in the background of your mind going, oh, well, what I'm going to do with that $1 million is I'm going to help feed the poor. I'm going to help change the world. I'm going to help do this and that, justifying why you want $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need that, you know?
Right.
And it's like, let the other people let the other 8-9 billion people figure out how to save the world. You know, and it's like, do I always have to have a motive for what I want? And I really like that you like the thing. That sort of like reminds me of my mom. She's always liked the finer things of life. Always. So, I mean, and she's always gotten those kind of finer things of life, and super cool that way, you know?
I know
Yeah,
for sure. Like when I was, I think sometimes in meetings, like I've noticed that if I talk about accomplishments, like I share about accomplishments, or like maybe somebody will crosstalk later on in the meeting, and they'll kind of like in like a subtle way, like crosstalk about what I was sharing about, and like how that's it's materialistic, or it's not really like recovery related. But the thing is like, and we all can see this a little differently, but like I've been told, and kind of like what you said earlier, Brett, like why not take this gift of recovery that we've been given and like freaking capitalize on it in every aspect, right? And so like the biggest accomplishment of all, like I fully understand that the biggest accomplishment of all, and the jumping off point for everything in my life has been my recovery, has been the fact that I don't drink or use anymore. Yeah. I understand that. But that doesn't mean I can't go out and tackle some other things and grab some other things if I want them, because now I've achieved this freedom because of my recovery. And I always give credit to it's because of my sobriety. It's because I'm clean, right? But like, that doesn't mean that I just have to stay stuck and work at AutoZone and be the general manager, or I don't have to quit smoking, or I don't have to go to the gym. Like, and I can choose to not do those things, and that's okay, right? Because I also get to make my own choices in life. Yeah. But also, why not, right? And how is that not okay to share with others?
And here's the craziest part about people in recovery: we always end up giving back. It's how this works. It's indoctrinated in us. If you're working the program and you're doing the steps, look at this podcast. I'm here for fun and for free. Yep. You know what I mean? Yeah. We give back innately. I had a reading one time. One of my biggest fears for making a certain amount of money was that I would relapse. That was one of the biggest fears that I had to work through. Because, baby, give this girl a big old bag of money. She's a hot mess in her disease, right? I'm going to go hard. But I'm not in my disease. Right. I'm sober. I was able to allow my sister doesn't have a 9-to-5 anymore. She works for me. She makes her own hours. She makes more than she did at her 9-to-5. That's changing her life and her kids' life. I'm creating content that show people that no matter how far down you are, you can change. So the reading that I had by this woman, she goes, Jessica, you don't ever have to worry about giving back because it's who you are. You're going to do it. Whether you're helping people with skincare on TikTok, whether you're creating your community, she's like, it's just who you are. You want these nice things, but giving back is equally a part of you as the part of you that wants the nice things and the part of you that's going to give back. And the majority of us in recovery are that way. We just end up giving back because it feels good and it's in alignment and it's what we do. So that's kind of the wicked little joke, is that so many people think you have to announce how you're giving back. And I have to, I owe this. It's just going to happen. If you're in alignment and you're leaning into your higher power, you're going to be giving back by having a conversation with somebody at the coffee shop. You're going to end up 12-stepping somebody that you just ran into on the bus. All of that is energetically giving back. So you really can let go of that fear, because if your heart is right and you're leaned in, it's just going to happen.
Dude, I remember when I first got a car, being clean, my first car, I was like afraid of that. I thought I was going to relapse because of that. Cause I was like, I'll set the bar low, having a car means a car is a great place to be homeless. This is shelter now. Right. So like, I was afraid that I was going to get loaded over having a car, I was going to use that to be that's going to be my house now. Yeah. Now I can get high again. You know what I mean? I was afraid of that. It's like crazy, like the things that we're afraid of, having, but we learn to have a healthy relationship with things, and we'll learn to have a healthy relationship with money. Right. I remember I didn't see money as money to go buy food, or like buy things like clothing, or like I saw money, all it looked like to me, and even gold jewelry also, all it ever looked like to me was it looked like a bag. It looked like a bag of dope, And when I got clean, that's how it was. And it took a while for me to like even be okay with like having $20 in my pocket, and like, cause my palms would get sweaty, you know what I mean? And I would trip out. I'd be like, $20. $20 isn't $20 to me. That's a 20 sack.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
And
yeah.
so, fast forward all these years, man, you learn to have a healthy relationship with things and money and
Everything.
accomplishments. And yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, being a good steward of your money
Hmm.
and keep on cycling it. I live to give, which is being grateful, inspired, validated, and excited. If I'm not excited about my life, do I expect other people to be excited about my life? This is for lives that we're talking about. It's okay to shine. And the liberating thing though is like what other people think about us is none of our business.
Mm.
So if someone's judging you, whatever. You just got
Yeah.
to keep moving on. And then if they're in their comfort zone and they're in year 40 of recovery and they got their little comfort zone, hey, that's great. They've made their life and everything, and they're judging you for moving on or sharing in a different way, or how we're sharing on the Super Sober podcast, or it's a program of attraction. So if we're not doing something attractive for these newcomers, and a lot of the newcomers, when we first come in, it's like me was a big trigger for money and stuff, I can go on all the rest of the
You
next
wanted
5 hours.
that had all the sponsor that had all the stuff, huh?
Yeah, well, not so much about that, but I mean, I can blow through some money, and I need money and money. I'm always hustling and I'm always hustling, but I just turn that hustle into something else. And it's okay. It's okay, man. You guys just keep on walking the pathway, keep on listening, and you'll learn how to be a good steward of your life, your time, your energy. And that's going to bring us into the fourth video right here, which is going to be some key points of like analysis paralysis and energy vampires and all that kind of stuff. So let's go into the fourth one, Solomon.
One of my biggest habits that I had to give up was overthinking. Overthinking will put you in so much of a paralysis, you won't even be able to do the things you want to do, let alone the things you have to do. Identity work really helped with overthinking. When I decided who I wanted to become and I got really clear on who they were, they didn't overthink. My best version of myself, she's not an overthinker. So when I have to get into that character of the best version of myself, I know she's not overthinking and she's only executing. So if you struggle with overthinking, sit down and get clear on who you are, jump into that character, let the overthinking go just for an hour, 2 hours at a time, and see how quickly you'll be able to execute. It's a game changer.
Yes, break down a little bit of that. Overthinking, we are masters of that. We'll tell you that.
So we talked a little bit earlier, we didn't say the words, but collapsing timelines, okay, and identity work. So I teach how to heal your money wound and I teach identity work. And in my community, that's what we talk a lot about. So identity work is basically sitting down and saying, and we do this in the ideals in the big book, where we sit down and we write down our ideal version of ourselves. I'm honest, I'm kind, I'm loving, that ideals list for ourselves. So you're going to do the same thing for your new identity. This version of you that makes 10K, 20K, 30K a month, or maybe it's 5K a month, or whatever your goals are. How do they act? How do they behave? How do they make decisions? How do they do that? And then when it's time for you to make a decision right now, you pull out that ideals list, you read it, and you make a decision from them. You make a decision from them. And that's how you collapse the timeline between making decisions from this version of you and making decisions from the version of you that has accomplished everything you want to accomplish. So the more you spend time in that new identity, that new frequency, the faster things come to you that person has. So, and like I said, you can do it an hour to 2 hours at a time. When I'm doing big things for my business, I do one thing a day because it takes everything I've got to do these big, brave things. It takes everything I have. And then I'll be like, okay, Beck, I'm going to go take a nap. She's like, got it. I got the emails,
Yes.
So it's going to take a lot of energy to do these big, bold moves, but you can do it one decision at a time. You have to stop paying attention to who's beating you. We're not swerving into anybody else's lane because then we're giving them our energy. Who cares what your peers are doing? It's not about them. You want to stop spending energy out of your lane. Stop letting things that don't have anything to do with your goals trigger you. It's taking your energy. It's siphoning the energy you need. You can't work out at night. How much time did you spend gossiping at work today? You can't go to that meeting tonight. How much time did you spend on the phone fighting with your mom, your sister, your boyfriend? That's where the energy vampires are coming in. You need to use it for your lane. And always, always practice gratitude for exactly where you're at. A lack of gratitude will drain you quicker than anything else.
So true. And the overthinking, what we call the analysis paralysis. That's why in the first 3 steps and where we're at, I'm no longer rationalizing with if I'm going to practice a program, if I'm going to help somebody or be my best self. So over the last 5 or 6 years for me that I've taken this journey on creation and businesses and where I'm at, wherever the next road goes, I can't help everybody like how I used to. This last year has been very hyper focused for me because I have a character. It's not a defect, but I want to help. And it's like, nope, it's time for me to siphon the energy back to me and keep on the next indicated step. And it's been a very conscious choice. I mean, I want to help everybody that asks me to sponsor them. I can't.
Mm-hmm.
I only have so much time. I only have so much energy. And to put all the focus on to your goal that you want to be, where Jessica's at, or us becoming RNs, or Solomon here at the podcast place, the beautiful, whatever your vision is, you got to be unapologetic about taking that time to create your future self for sure.
Yeah, it's one of those things that in the beginning of sobriety, I think we all had to do. No, I'm going to a meeting. No, I'm going to rehab. No, I'm doing this. We had to funnel everything out, but at least me. It was sobriety over everything. I missed funerals. I missed weddings. I missed birthdays. I didn't want to go around alcohol. I mean, I just poured everything I could into my sobriety. I had the gift of desperation. So now that we're sober, we're in our comfort zone. We have to have the gift of desperation again for this next thing that we're creating.
That's real too, because being in meetings can become a comfort zone.
Oh yeah.
I've seen it happen, so it's about striking a balance, I think, you know what I mean? And that looks a little different for everybody else. You get to find out what that looks like for you. Maybe some people do need to be in a meeting every single day. Some people do.
Yes.
And that's good for them. But that doesn't mean, and sometimes that happens, right? Like I'm sitting in a meeting and I'll hear somebody say something that they do that they have to do to keep this thing or do it right in their mind. And like, I think that maybe I have to do that too, or I'm not doing it right, and start comparing myself. And then, but like understanding that like what I'm doing for me is working for me because the results are showing.
Right.
And so, stepping out of your comfort zone, whatever that might look like, even if that means, and it's been this way for me, even if that means dumping off a couple recovery related things in order to chase some dreams,
right?
Which is so contradictory to what I was taught, or what I perceived I was taught, I guess I should say.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And there's Zoom meetings 24 hours a day.
Oh,
yeah. Or you can never not catch a meeting. So if you feel like that sense of panic coming in because you didn't go to your meeting at 5 p.m., but you got a bunch of stuff done for your business, hop on at 9 p.m. There's meetings 24 hours a day. The thing is, it's going to work. It's all going to work out. It's all going to work out.
Yeah, that's what I love telling people these days. Spoiler alert, everything works out.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, right? Yeah.
Once upon a time, happily ever after, the end. And it's like people thinking that once upon a time to happily ever after is going to take 20 years. And it's like, how much can you let go to get to where you're going? And it's like, make the decision, stop rationalizing and justifying. I'm not doing that anymore. My highest self, my better self, and all of that is not I'm not wasting energy doing that. I'm staying sober today. I'm going to do what I need to do. I'm going to take care of what I need to take care of. And that's like a non-negotiable. That's like not even I don't go into analysis paralysis about this. What I'm doing, I'm sitting here and then like having Notorious JID, that vision that came to me, or different ideas, or writing the script of the detox, or getting Jessica in here on the second podcast for what we're doing. And it's like, I can get into analysis paralysis. I mean, calling it the Super Sober Podcast or whatever my next indicated step was, it's just a name. Go with it, see what happens, right? See what the next indicated step goes on, and then see how the path keeps going, right?
Yeah. And it's not, a lot of people, the gridlock of analysis paralysis is, I'm going to play with it until I feel good enough to do it. But the reality is you do it, then you feel better. That's the reality. You take the action, then you get the feeling, because only in taking the action are you becoming that person. It's not in thinking about it that you become a different person. It's in taking the action, going to the meeting, getting the sponsor. I mean, we can trace everything back to the beginning of sobriety. When you started taking action, you got the miracles, and every other part of your life is no different. You have to take the action to get the feeling.
Yeah, so true. It's an action-based program. If you're in action, you're in practice. If you're in practice, you're in action. And that's what we're doing here. And What I kind of wanted to get into a little bit more of with what you're doing now is how much time do you think about doing your next indicated step with what
So
you're
my
doing?
main goal right now is to have an idea and execute on it. The quicker I mean, if I have an idea, I'm sending the email. I do not allow time to lapse, because what used to happen was I would have an idea, then a couple months later I would do it, or 6 months later I would do it. When you close the timeline between having the idea and executing, so let's say there's somebody out there right now, they're like, I want to own a business and I want to be a content creator. You can go to legalzoom.com right now and start your LLC. You're a business owner in 10 minutes. You can get on
Yep.
Instagram and say, hey, my name's Joe. I'm starting this business. I'm going to be posting here. You're a content creator.
Yes.
That's
Mhm.
it. Point blank, period. You don't need the success to validate who you are and what you're doing. It just takes the action. So if you've got something on your heart, 1, 2, 3, go.
I know,
Go.
and they
Send
got
it.
everything for it too. I mean, you got YouTube, you got people like us or whatever. You want to start an LLC? I've just started my second one. Reach out
Yes.
to us, Mike DeBrock, the tax doctor. You can sit down and talk with him. He'll make sure everything's filed right, correctly. Take over all that different area. Usually in the program, it's what I found is you don't know who you're sitting next to. If you don't let people know where you're at or what you want to do, and sometimes they'll be negative, sometimes they'll be good, bad, or indifferent. But a lot of the time, someone comes out and you're sitting right next to the person to get you the right next step, but you didn't open your mouth and let
No,
people
that's
know.
real. Yep. And only in taking that action will you be led to that next door.
Right?
Yeah.
That's where the next door is. And you don't even know what that looks like sometimes. I mean, you don't. You don't know what
No.
that looks like. You have no
I was
clue.
praying to God. I was like, I need coworkers. I'm a content creator. I do this thing all by myself. I need a community. I need people that I can work with. And then 2 months ago, here come you guys. And then I was praying again. I was like, I want other women to work with. We thought of something 3 weeks ago. I had somebody fly out from Florida this weekend to come meet with me, another content. We launched our business, and we got an email from our first brand this morning.
Yes.
Because we had the courage to just
Yes.
say no. She was like, I'm going to get on a flight. I'm going to come see you.
Yeah.
We're going to do this. We're going to post about it. We created a bunch of content this weekend. We just posted. It's not a brand new account,
Yeah.
you know? So it's, if you can get in the habit of running towards your goals, you know, you will just start to accomplish these things, and no more thinking. We're just going to execute. We're just going to execute.
And
You gotta
God,
close-
it feels so much better to do it that way than
Yeah.
to just sit and think about it.
Oh,
Because oh my gosh, you feel like you're actually doing something, because you are, but it gives you more of a sense of control of your life, for sure.
yeah. And then the energetics are kickstarted, and higher power is like, oh, they're a business owner. Well, let me send them this person, this person, this. Oh, okay. Let me send them this. Like, you guys know, when you put the energy and intention into it, the road paves in front of you. You just got to have enough faith that it's going to be there before your foot hits it. You know, you got to walk the walk, though. You got to start.
Yeah, and it gets easier though. So I mean, when you first start doing something like this, and when I first did it, I remember I sent out some mic equipment and some headphones to do the podcast, and I just started doing it, and then I started learning it, and I was going to do a different streaming, and kept on just everything that I've done in my life. I just taken those little baby steps, and then now I'm to the point to where it's like, oh, if I need to start another business, I know how to do that. Well, that's easy. I just fire him up. I got the right people at the right place at the right time. It's the who's, not how, which Jessica's in right now. And it's like, you can only have so much time and energy to do everything. And then when things start exploding, it's more about how good the people are around you to help you do those things. So,
Addicts and alcoholics, man, we can commit pretty good to
yeah.
some things, you know? But I think the thing is like fear. We're also fearful, really potentially fearful people. And so the fear sometimes hinders that even getting to that place of commitment, you know, for sure. But once we commit, though, it's on and cracking, you know?
Yeah, you commit, then you get the courage, then you get the capability, and then you get the confidence, and you keep cycling around the 4 C's of business, you know, the commitment, the courage, the capability, and the confidence. And we just keep on doing it, right? And so here we are, another hour done on SSP 31. I want to give a special thanks and a shout out for breaking it down. All the listeners and the people watching it, you want to Jessica's just always popping in the videos and the visualization. She's got a platform. She can be your personal mentor. You can break it down. She's got a community. You can insert yourself into a community of all those like minds as like AA and NA and 12-step people. And there's so many communities out there and so many people doing things. Jessica is available. She does it. She can teach you how to get to it. You can stay accountable to that action, and it'll be in the show notes. And you can link it right up. You just put in Jessica McDonald on Instagram, and then she's got all these platforms and stuff. It's amazing. So we really appreciate you coming on Super Sober Podcast 31. Any closing comment here in the next minute or so?
I just want to say thank you. Shout out to my community. Shout out to my mentors, my sister. And just to let anybody know, if you're scared to death while you're doing it, me too. I still get scared when I post content. It's not about not being afraid. It's just about doing it anyway. So thank you guys so much for the opportunity to have me on again. This was so amazing.
Of course. If you're ever in town or whatever down here in Long Beach, we'll bring you into the studio or however it goes. I'm sure we'll be collaborating in the future or something, because this is super rad. I just want to do some shout outs here at the end of the podcast. We're on all platforms. You want to see the video, go to YouTube, any listening platform, Buzzsprout, Spotify. All you have to do is type in Super Sober Podcast. You want to email us, it's info@f3recovery.org, info@supersoberpodcast.org, or you can go to our website at f3recovery.org. We have, we'll get right back to you. Got any questions, anything, you can go on the website, go to the back to the resources. Shout out to the Detox, the first script series for people in recovery that I've been working on trying to sell to Hollywood. You can just go see the one sheet on f3recovery.org. It'll tell you the whole script. Shout out to Notorious JID, the first mascot of recovery. We're here doing creating all types of stuff. We should have our first product out here pretty soon by the end of the month. It'll be, that's mind-blowing stuff. And shout out to Solomon again. You're in the area or whatever, come down here. You don't have to be in analysis paralysis about it. You got a vision. You can just walk right in here. He can help you out, show the videos, give you a vision, create life to what's going on. And you can get a sponsor like His House New Creation or people that help you pay for it and get into it. And anything else, Rich or Solomon back there?
I would just say, Jessica, keep doing what you're doing. I mean, it's inspirational. I'm not in recovery, but it's inspirational to me just listening to you and listening to how you visualize things and put that out for the community. So just keep doing that.
Thank you.
All right. So as always, keep on keeping on.
Thank you for listening to the Super Sober Podcast. Go to our website at f3recovery.org. That's F3Recovery, all one word, .org. We're turning fight, flight, and freeze into free form and flow through practicing the 12 steps and staying accountable to change. Don't forget to keep on keeping on.